So Doug, I've been traveling a bit more this summer, and I've noticed at the various places I've gone that there have been a severe worker shortage. Restaurants not able to operate at full capacity, no Uber drivers, and a lot of people complain that they think people just don't want to work. They're not going back because they've been receiving unemployment benefits. But here we are, unemployment benefits are going back to normal levels. What do you think the cause is? Is it really that people just don't want jobs?
Well, the high unemployment rate is of course an easy excuse, but it's much deeper than that. And of course it is. It's much more complex. So one of the things you got to realize is before COVID, when President Trump is president, the unemployment rate's at 3.5%. Now we're fully employed at 4.5%.
So where are we now?
We're at 5.1%. So we don't have a high unemployment rate like people think we do.
Mm-hmm.
We're almost fully employed, and it was a tight labor market even before COVID hit.
Interesting. So are there other reasons then that we're not seeing people come back to work?
Right, there is. And one of the big ones you got to look at is the people age 55 to 65. That group saw a 7.5% unemployment rate, the largest ever in the history of recorded time for unemployment. But that's only part of the story. It was much larger because a large group in there just decided to retire. We see it with clients. So a fair amount in that age group decided to get out of the workforce temporarily, and then a lot of them just said, I'm going to take an early retirement. They didn't want to do the remote working and the technology kind of stuff that was required to do that kind of working, so they just left the workforce altogether.
So of course they wouldn't be represented in that 7.5% number
So
if you're not...
Yeah, the number's much larger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the other thing that happened is then the low-end workers had to fill in the higher-end workers. So you had a movement up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to a person who owned a contracting firm, and he said that the carpenters he's getting are very low skill because really his other carpenters left due to COVID, and now he's getting the low skilled people moving up.
So what about like migrant workers? Traditionally, we've had people from outside of our country come in to fill some of the labor gaps, right, with farming and different skilled or unskilled work.
They fill a lot of the unskilled. For example, when you go to Ocean City, it used to be a lot of the workers were from Eastern Bloc nations. A lot of the agricultural workers were and construction workers were from like Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been an anti-movement towards migration, and so that's led to less migrants coming into the United States, and we really need them as workers.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the low-end workers that we're talking about, but also the high-end workers. You see doctors, we have a shortage of doctors and technical workers in the United States, and a lot of them are choosing not to come into the United States because of the difficult labor situation.
Does this impact certain areas of the workforce? I mean, do we have a gap in skilled labor?
We do, and another big issue is higher education. Our current higher education system is not turning out the workers that we need. For example, we graduate 100,000 engineers below what our industry needs to fill those positions. So if we don't graduate them, they're going to be forced to get them from somewhere else, and usually they have to import it through migration again.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another big issue for us.
So there you have a little bit about the employment situation in our country today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.